Professor!
Ah, well,
What are you doing now?
Is that the time?
Again.
I like to check up the times. Wow, that's always a surprise when you arrive. Always unannounced. It's always a pleasure.
Good.
Well, what I'm doing today, I'm just having a close look.
Ooh.
A close look at items made of, guess what?
Oh, goodness me.
Guess what? Yes, horn. Oh, I've got it here, look, a little tiny horn spoon. Hello, Pussy Wurtle.
Oh, I think she might come and join us in a minute.
Pussy Wurtle, she'll be wandering around here. Look, when little Jack Horner was a baby,
Yes.
he would have been fed with a little horn spoon.
Oh.
Because he was the son of a horner, who was the son of a horner, who made things out of horn. And little Jack Horner would grow up to be a horner. And he wouldn't have stuck in his thumb to pull out a plum and say, what a good boy am I. He'd have stuck in his horn spoon. Things were made of horn. It was before there was any plastic, which is environmentally disastrous. The things that are now made of plastic were often made of horn or leather. And so, there's a little horn spoon.
Isn't it a lovely little thing?
I think it is really.
It's beautiful.
You see,
Yes, very
you
lovely.
can actually, it's translucent. You can see light through it.
Yes.
And
Beautiful.
this is made of a piece of cow's horn, perhaps from a horn like this. You see,
Oh, isn't
it's
that
got these
lovely?
striations in it.
Yes.
Well, this is a drinking horn.
Yes.
So here we've got the earliest form of cup that humans used. The earliest and easiest form is your cupped hands.
Of course.
But we're not savages, so we like a little appurtenance that's beautiful and very useful. In fact, the earliest artefact that's been found, one of the very earliest, 25,000 years old, is a horn spoon.
Oh.
And it's incredibly, because it's perishable, it rots, but it was found in clay in a cave.
Oh, so it had been preserved.
Yeah, in the Pont d'Arc region of France. And so here we've got a little horn spoon as it would have looked when it was new.
Beautiful.
Still, people prefer to eat eggs, boiled eggs with a horn spoon.
Of course.
So there's a cup, the sort of earliest cup, and here's another cup made out of horn.
Oh, it's got a bottom on it.
Yes, this has got another piece of horn that's boiled and flattened out.
Yes.
Fixed in the bottom here, and there's the smaller one that Jack Horner would have drunk out of
Oh, the little
when
one.
he was a little boo. Little Jack Horner sat in his corner saying, "Mum, get me a hot chocolate." No, he didn't. But you see, this would have gone somewhere
yes,
down
of
here.
course.
You see, and so horns were used for all sorts of things, drinking out of, spoons. You can have horn bowls. I've got here a massive great horn, which is
Oh my
you can see
gosh.
it's a huge thing, and this is a horn for calling the cattle. Little boy Blue can blow up your horn. The sheep's in the meadow, the cow's in the corn.
Yes.
Well, you use the horn to call your animals. There's different sizes, but this is one of an extinct species known as the Oryx. And the Oryx
I've heard of that.
Yeah, a marvellous creature. There were Oryxes. The last two were shot and eaten in 1945 in the zoo in Berlin.
Gracious.
As far as I know, the
Oh.
last two were shot and eaten.
Gosh.
So that's when the Oryx became extinct.
Extinct, yes.
It was a lovely German steak schnitzel. It was a lovely schnitzel dinner. Yeah.
Poor old Oryx.
Yeah, that's the end of the Oryx. But the horn here is a wonderful thing. If I blow it, you'll hear the sound of the bull. Because when little boy Blue blew his horn, he was making the noise of a bull. If you just go, that's the sound of the old bull breathing.
Yes.
And then you go, and you got the sound
Fantastic.
that attracts that's the cows.
It actually made. I could feel the vibration actually.
Could you?
Yes.
The cows think, "Coy, he sounds like a real tasty geezer. We'll go and partay with the bull." But they don't find a bull; they find you girls with your milking bucket. That's another story. So that's sort of the bull call.
Goodness me.
And they used them in hunting as well. They used a horn in medieval times as a way of giving commands in battle.
Of course.
I've got another one here. You know, Robin Hood always carried his horn to call his merry men together
Ta-da!
in the forest.
Yes.
You know, so there's another one. Even the tip, you see, I cut the tip off. The horns
Yes.
are hollow inside. If I show you here with the Oryx horn,
Yes.
you can see it's hollow inside. And if I go, look, a monster beast from the Black Lagoon.
That's very, very odd.
Yeah, I can't help having a bit of fun with history. But I'll just show you that. This is the top of a ram's skull.
Oh, look at that curly horn.
Yeah, the curly horns. In the Jewish faith, they use these as the shofar to call the
Of course they do.
faithful
Yes.
to worship.
Yes.
You can see here, this is where the brain was.
Ooh,
I'm
not terribly
using-
huge, is it?
I'm using a magnifying glass, because the brain's very small. These are what we call government brains. This is what we call the government brain.
It's a government brain.
Yes, a government brain. It's about as big as a walnut. And so that's where
Yes.
the brain was.
Yes.
And if I take one of the horns from the skull, you can see that it's got a horn core inside, a bone core inside, you see. And so if we put that down over here, then you can see you could cut the end off
Yes.
and blow through it. And that's what they use in the synagogue to call the faithful to prayer.
Absolutely. How
And
lovely.
also, if you look at it, it's very conveniently shaped because you could use it as a jug. And in ancient times, you'd take some honey from your bees to the altar of the gods,
Yes.
and you'd pour it into perhaps a horn cup on the altar, and you'd take some milk from your goats or your sheep, you know,
Yes.
because they used to milk their sheep as well, and pour some of that on the altar for the gods, and the priest would have this, of course. And or you take some corn, from your field of corn that you'd harvested, and you'd give some to the gods as a little thank you to the gods for giving you
Fantastic.
all these good. And then it becomes what you call a horn of plenty.
Plenty. Yes, of course.
The cornucopia.
Cornucopia.
So it's in our thoughts. It's in our language.
Yes.
You know, horn of plenty, little book, nursery rhymes.
Yes.
We remember these things, and I'll put that down there. You have to be careful where you put it down when it was full, wouldn't you? In case
We
it spilled.
certainly would.
This is one for calling the deer. When you go hunting, you don't want to traipse through the forest. Stop rocking. It's good enough for rock. You play a horn to call the stag to you. You don't want to go through the forest looking for the deer, but if you make the noise of the stag, the deer come to you. So you sit there quietly with your bow across your knees, and everyone has venison for dinner.
Yum.
Delish. If I just blow this thing, you'll hear the sound of the stag. And the deer hear it, and that's his challenge to all the other stags. And so the biggest, fittest stags come galloping through the woods. Thock! Delicious! And then you can make yourself a Bambi bag.
Oh,
And
look.
this is a bag made out of deer skin
Yes.
that hangs on you because they don't have any pockets in the trousers.
No.
So you've got a little... And here you've got, if I show you this, it's the tip of one of these horns. No part of the beast was ever wasted.
Well, isn't that a good idea?
And this is the tip cut off, and then it's a little button you can see to fix you.
It's like just a little toggle button,
yeah,
isn't
little
it?
toggle. So,
Well, that is wonderful, Professor.
But these
so
are the
many
sort
uses.
of things. So blow your own trumpet. That's what I say. You see, you didn't think you'd have a cabaret, did you? Let's do a bit of jazz.
Professor. Well, on that note, Professor.
A happy note.
A happy note. I shall
Lovely
say
to see you.
good morning.
Toodle pip.
Bye.
See you again soon, I hope.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.